Van Deeb, a dynamic leader with decades of experience building companies and crushing sales. He's been there and done that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Van Deeb.
Inspiring audiences across the country to do it too. Here's Van.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Van Deeb podcast. You know, I'm pretty excited today because today I get to talk to you about what motivates me. You know, motivation is my business. It's my career. It's my passion. It's my hobby. The fact that we are blessed to be alive motivates me, and how grateful we should be for even the smallest and the simplest things life has to offer. So I'm often asked how I stay motivated and inspired, and who motivates me, and what I do to stay positive and grateful. Well, the 5 ways that I stay motivated are just a few things that help me stay motivated and inspired. We all have the ability to incorporate motivation and inspiration in our own lives, regardless of what industry, what career, or what path we have chosen. I will help you find at least a couple of these that can make a difference in your life as they do mine. So today we're going to talk about the 5 ways I stay motivated. You know, Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite authors and motivating figures, says, people say that motivation doesn't last, but neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. So we do need motivation daily. One of my other favorite authors, who I really enjoy the book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill wrote, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So this is the mindset I want you to have today when you're listening to the 5 ways that I stay motivated. Remember, a positive attitude may not solve all your problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth it. So there you go. That was a quote by Herm Albright. So one of the 5 ways is, drum roll, number 1, eliminate the negatives. First and foremost, in finding ways to stay positive is eliminating the negative influences in your life. Remember something, misery loves company. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you choose to be around the most. Being negative, complaining, critical, and judgmental is contagious. So make sure you limit your exposure around these types of people. Think about how good you feel when you are around someone that has a positive attitude and a smile on their face, which is why people like to hang out with me, actually. Watch what happens to your life when you eliminate the negatives out of yours. Albert Schweitzer said, the greatest discovery of any generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes. So one of the 5 ways I stay motivated is eliminate the negatives. It's your choice. You are always only one choice away from changing your life, and that one will definitely help. Number 2, in a 5 ways of what motivates me, I never quit. Making a decision to never quit trying is what I try to do every day. This keeps me motivated, especially when I think about all the success stories I've read about people being persistent. One of my favorites is Walt Disney, and I know you've heard me say this on other podcasts in the past. Walt Disney is the epitome of persistence. He went to 300 lending institutions, pitching his idea of building a theme park until finally someone said, yes, Mr. Disney, I'll give you a loan. The rest is history. So be persistent and never quit. For those of you that are writing down what I'm saying, number 1 is eliminate the negatives. Number 2, never quit. And one of my all-time favorites is create discipline. That's number 3. Why is it one of my all-time favorites that motivates me is because I am not anything special. I wasn't born with any special skills or anything. But one thing that I can be on a level playing field with my peers and surpass them is creating a discipline. Being disciplined will eventually create habits. These habits are going to eventually become natural to you. Identify areas of your life that you want to make a change and start slowly to make it happen. Trust me. It's not a race. You don't have to hurry to try to make this happen. It's the same concept on learning to be a marathon runner. They have to build their endurance a little every day to eventually go to the distance. Same thing in business. Same thing in our careers. To me, there is no difference in your business life as well as your personal. When I started Deeb Realty out of my basement, I had to create a discipline to make something happen every single day that would contribute to the company's growth. In my book, you want something to happen, you got to create a discipline. Remember, you create the discipline, it'll eventually turn into a habit, which will eventually become natural to you. And researchers have proven that you can create a discipline in less than 66 days. Think about it. Think about 66 days from now, your life could be completely changed. And those of you that know me well know that I'm very spiritual and I love Proverbs. And Proverbs 10.4 says, lazy hands make a man poor, but diligent hands bring wealth. Well, I relate that to creating discipline. So there you go. Create discipline is my number 3. My number 1, ways I stay motivated, eliminate the negatives. Number 2, never quit. Number 4, and this is one that's really tough for me, which is why I make it one of the ways I stay motivated. Number 4 is read more. I want to tell you something, guys and gals and non-humans who's ever listening. They call them self-help books for a reason, because they help you. I can't tell you how I can be down in the dumps and, don't have direction. I'm in a funk. Like the people here at Parkville Media will see me once in a while. I'm in a funk and they have to bring me out. Doesn't take long because they're great people. But they call them self-help books for a reason. They help you be creative. They open up your mind. They give you new ideas and so on. I never really enjoyed reading. I was never that guy. And I've got the grade point average to prove that I didn't enjoy reading. I never really enjoyed it until later on in life. And I would not have the mindset that I have today if it wasn't for me reading motivational, inspirational, spiritual books, or even biographies of people that I admire. They motivate me. And at the very least, they educate me on ways of being better, improving, and living a more enjoyable and productive life. I get a chance to read these great quotes and they inspire and motivate me. Like James Prochaska said, people who take action and fail are twice as likely to succeed as people who don't take any action at all. That stuff gets me fired up. So get some self-help books. I've written 5 books. I think you should go to my website, vandeeb.com, and at least buy one of them because it'll make your life better. I don't write books to make my life better. I write books to help other people's life get better. Okay, backtracking. Number 1, way I stay motivated. I eliminate the negatives. Number 2, I never quit. Number 3, I create a discipline. And number 4, I read more. And I tell you something, when you're reading books and inspirational material, man, it benefits you. Last but certainly not least, my number 5 ways that I stay motivated, ladies and gentlemen, is visualize your goals. Man, this is something that really, really resonates with me because I visualize all the time. I'm one of these guys that'll just close my eyes, turn off my phone, turn off the world, and for 5 minutes just sit and visualize where I want to be in a year from now, where I want to be in 5 years, and try to picture what that looks like. For some of you, it may be debt-free. For some of you, it may be number 1 in your company. It may have a personal meaning when you visualize. You may see your 2 little kids running around in the front yard with the white picket fence. You might see a great spouse or a marriage or a yacht or something that has to do with money. Maybe you see yourself writing down in your savings account, you just passed the $1 million mark. Guys, I want to tell you something. And I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to impress you when I tell you this, but I want to impress upon you that anybody can do it. One of the goals that I always visualized my whole life was to see what the feeling is of having $1 million in my savings account. One of the stupidest things you could possibly do, not investing it and not buying, income producing investments. But I had a goal. I wanted to see what it would look like. I busted my tail during my career, and I still am today. And I kept putting money in my savings account. And one day, I got to write down over $1 million in my savings. That was one of the coolest benchmarks of my life, because what was cool is I visualized it when I had $50 in my savings account. And I kept on putting that in my head. It made me work harder. It made me bust my tail. Nobody gave me that $1 million. I did that on my own, and I visualized it every day. I used to write down $1 million with 1 and 6 zeros behind it just to see what it'd look like. Is that visualizing your goals? I think so. Also used to visualize being number 1 in my company before I opened my own. I visualized what I was going to say when I won the award for being the number 1 producer in the company. I used to stand in front of my mirror and give my acceptance speech. We all have this ability. Visualizing my goals is one of my favorite areas of staying motivated. You can make visualizing your goals and objectives in several different ways. Like I said, spending quiet time with no interruptions works for most people. You might want to use visuals like Post-it notes or daily reminders that I know I will see every day. I used to put Post-it notes on my bathroom mirror saying, "Don't come home unless you've been productive." You don't think that sticks with me all day? Visualizing my goals gives me a mental picture, solidifies the meaning of my goal, and keeps me on target and helps me focus on my objectives. It's really cool because I love this author, and his name is Brian Tracy. He wrote so many cool, motivating books. And I was at an authors and speakers conference in Anaheim, California. And I go sit down like everybody else is in this auditorium to listen to a speaker, and I sit right next to Brian Tracy. Of course, I had to get a picture with him and was really cool talking to him when I've admired him for so many years. But speaking of visualization, Brian wrote, "You can't hit a target you can't see." Think about it. What's your goal? Where do you want to be? Can you visualize it? Have you written it down? Have you put a picture of it on your bathroom mirror? Do you talk about it to the people that love you, your spouse, your kids? Do you go up to your boss and say, "Hey, I want to be the number 1 employee at this company. What do I have to do?" Give me things to do so I'm number one here. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of visualization, and it's worth it for you to have me coach you just on this topic alone. I guarantee you have me as your coach, I'll get you to where you want to go. If you have drive, desire, and determination, you incorporate me in your life, I'll make sure I get you to where you want to go. So let's go through all 5 of the ways that I stay motivated. All right? 1, you eliminate the negatives. And negatives have no place in your life. And ladies and gentlemen, the brutal cost of this is it's humans too. If there's negative humans in your life, get rid of them. Not tomorrow, today. They're holding you back. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Never quit. Number 2, make a decision to never, ever, ever quit. If you want something bad enough, go for it. And don't stop. I believe there's nothing we can't have if we make a decision to never quit. Number 3, create a discipline. You want to be successful? You got to discipline yourself. Don't expect anybody else to do it for you. You want to quit smoking because you'll be more productive? Find a way to quit and make it happen. You want to be number one in your company? Find a way to make it happen. You create the discipline. Like I say, that discipline will eventually become a habit, and before you know it, it's natural to you. Number 4, read more. Read some of my books. Read anybody's books that are going to get you fired up and motivated about being alive. You don't have to read gigantic, thick encyclopedias. Just pick something that might motivate you. Always have one book you're reading. I want to tell you something. It takes me forever to read a small book. You know why? Because I got a little ADD and I forget what I read because I don't focus. So I've got to read one page 3 times. So what? I'm not in a race. If it takes me 2 months to read a 100-page book, so what? At least I'm reading one. And number 5, you guys already know that's my favorite. Visualize your goals. As Brian Tracy said, you can't hit a target you can't see. And ladies and gentlemen, make all this fun. This is the fundamentals of being successful. These 5 ways that motivate me should be your 5 ways that motivate you. I'm grateful you take the time to listen to my podcast. I hope you have an awesome day, and I hope you implement this. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review my podcast. And please share this with your friends. Really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in today.
A Parkville Media Production.